something. He's going to be racing there and taking his spot.
They got a lot of stuff to say about the car. They know what's coming.
Everybody behind me is a big block.
He might be on a one-way trip out of there.
Big old wheel stand. Pontiac taking the win light. So coming up for first round of the Super Street Shootout, we've got Charlie Robertson versus Graham Hayes, Greg Dustown and Patrick Watts, Jamie Mumpower versus David Moulton, and Zach Reed takes on Chris Carter. Graham Hayes and Charlie Robertson lead us off in the Super Street Shootout here. Hayes rolls up out of South Hill, Virginia. The Ford Mustang over on the George Mason side. Charlie Robertson, a multi-time runner here in the Get Fast 1 RVA list. He was one of the first participants on the list way back in the day. And now he's trying to get back onto that Super Street list here in the Pontiac on the Pertec lane. This is round number 1 of the Super Street Shootout, the right to challenge for the number 10 spot on the Get Fast 1 RVA list. Hayes rolls in deep here. Charlie Robertson brings the Pontiac up, and they're off. Hayes strikes the tires, and Charlie goes right down Broadway on the Pertec side of the racetrack and scores a first-round win in the shootout. The Pontiac goes to round number 2. Next pair coming up, Patrick Watts here out of Mechanicsville, the Rick's Tire and Auto team car coming up on the George Mason side of the racetrack, and Greg Dustown out of Mechanicsville brings up the little Mustang here on the Pertec side. Watts in the Oldsmobile. Greg rolls up in the Mustang. A couple of boys out of the Ville make their way to the starting line. First round of the Super Street Shootout. Patrick, wheel stands right into some tire spin, and Greg goes right down the Pertec side for the win light. The Mustang goes to round 2 of the shootout. And Moulton coming up in the Chesterfield-based Chevy Camaro, taking on Jamie Mumpower in the Chevy Camaro out of Fredericksburg. You got a first-gen Chevy over there on the George Mason Mortgage side against the latest and greatest of the Chevy Camaros here on the Pertec lane. They're clean and green off the launch. This one's going to go to Jamie Mumpower in the Chevy Camaro on the Pertec lane. Chris Carter coming up out of Goochland, the Pontiac, going to line up here with Zach Reed from Beaver Dam. Reed in the Ford Mustang, a former player on the top 10 list, trying to get his way back on it now. First, he's got to get through the Pontiac. Round number 1 of the Super Street Shootout. Get Fast 1 RVA list here at Richmond Dragway. Reed moving first, and Reed looks like he's not going to look back all the way down the racetrack. The Ford Mustang cruises through to round number 2 of the Super Street Shootout. After that first round's complete, Zach Reed, Jamie Mumpower, Charlie Robertson, and Greg Dustown still standing on the Super Street list. Callouts coming up here. On the Super Street side of the list, the Caddy CTSV out of Farmer Machine. This is John Hampton taking on Louis Demetriuson over there. Louis on the Pertec side in the Ford Mustang. John in the Caddy. This is a call out for the number 5 spot. Heading out to the top end, Louis, currently your number 5 racer, and he'll stay that way on the Pertec lane for the win line. Keith Breslin bringing up his Chevrolet Corvette, taking on Chris James here. This is a call out for the number 7 position on the Super Street list. James currently number 7. Breslin is challenging out of the number 8 spot, trying to move up the list. James bumps in, stages up. Here comes Breslin into vet. The Mustang's away first. Chris James looks like he's on cruise control to hold his position at the number 7 spot on the RVA list, and he does. Call out for the number 2 spot. Patrick Depew is number 3 right now, calling out backdraft. Jason Blankenship for the number 2 spot on the Super Street list. With Jimmy B and Gerald Driver not on the property tonight, this is a major matchup that could lead to number 1 implications. Pontiac and Chevy Camaro lining up here. Blankenship and Depew roll up to the starting line. Wheels up, start side by side as they head down the Richmond Dragway quarter mile. Who's it going to be? Depew at the stripe takes number 2 on Friday night. Round 1 of the Ultimate Street list. John Mankia will have the bye run, and then we'll watch Gene Motley and Chad Glenn, Tim Bauer versus Gino Anurama, Mark Coonley and Greg Beckner, Ryan Watts takes on Jeff Henderson, and Tracy Eubank challenging Ben Chick. We move up to the Ultimate Street Challengers. John Mankia coming up. He is on the bye run for the first round of the shootout. John rolls up out of Mechanicsville, Virginia. His Chevy Camaro lines up on the Pertex side of the racetrack. He will single here in round number 1. Lock that out. So we watch Chevy Camaro. John launching off a nice clean run. He'll be back around for round number 2 of the shootout. Chevy Camaro flips through the top end on the Pertex side of the racetrack and says, I'll be tuned up and ready for the next round of the shootout. Here comes Chad Glenn bringing up the wagon over on the George Mason side. He'll run up against Purple Rain. Gene Motley here on the Pertec lane. Glenn had qualified his Mustang onto the Get Fast 1 RVA list, decided he'd rather go with the wagon, so he pulls the Mustang, and now he's in the shootout with his wagon. He's got to get by Gene Motley, who's been making some great runs the past couple of weeks, sorting out Purple Rain. As Motley rolls up out of Chesterfield, Virginia on the Pertex side of the racetrack. This ought to be a great little drag race between a couple of trash talkers. The Ultimate Street list. Everybody staged up for an instant green start. Wagon hits the tires right off the line. Purple Rain runs it down. Makes first round look easy. Gene Motley going to round 2 of the shootout. Gino Anurama coming up against Tim Bauer. Bauer out of Seaford, Virginia in the Nova. Gino out of North Chesterfield in the Chevy Camaro. The Nova. Going to put it in cruise control and head down the Pertex side for the win light. On to round number 2 of the shootout. Greg Beckner pulling up. The Fairmont wagon out of the Hayes shop. Going to line up here with Mark Coonley out of Chester, Virginia in the Chevrolet Camaro. It's a great Ford and Chevy battle on the starting line. Who loves the little wheel-standing Fairmount wagon over there? Against that awesome Coonley entry here on the Pertex side. Beckner, former alcohol funny car racer, slamming the doors on a little Fairmount. Side by side off of the starting line, Coonley, too much power on the Pertex side, seals the deal in round number 1 of the shootout. Here's Jeff Henderson out of Mechanicsville rolling up that pickup. This thing's made a transformation over the last month, the last couple of months. Certainly performing much better as he rolls up to the starting line, taking on Ryan Watts out of Burkeville, Virginia. This bad Malibu right here. One mean hot rod on the Pertex side. He made a great shakedown run just a little bit ago, comes almost right back to the lanes to get ready for first round of the Ultimate Street Shootout. He tried to flip it over on the shakedown run, right here on the starting line. Again, look at that launch over here on the Pertex side. Watts doesn't look back all the way down the racetrack. He screams away for a first round win in the shootout. Your final pair coming up here, Tracy Eubank Gonna bring up the Mustang and take on Ben Chick in the Red Rum Mustang here on the George Mason Mortgage side. Chick had been on the Get Fast 1 RVA list, elected to pull his car off, did not want to take the street cruise, and now must earn his way back into the top 10. But first, he's got to get by Tracy. Tracy brings up the Ford Mustang on the the Pertex side. Ben Chick's Ford Mustang over on the George Mason Mortgage lane. Everybody's staged up and ready to go. Chick strikes the highs on the George Mason side. Meanwhile, Tracy Eubank makes it look easy. Takes the win light first round of the shootout. That finishes the shootout first round. Brings us up some Ultimate Street action for callouts. After the first round of the Ultimate Street list, Mark Coonley and Gene Motley, John Mankia and Tim Bauer, and Tracy Eubank races Ryan Watts. Firing them up here in the burnout box for the callouts. Looks like Mike Ratliff coming up out of Colonial Heights, Virginia. The Ford Falcon taking on Chuck Otters, 804 Chuck on the Pertex side in the Chevrolet Camaro. Ford and Chevy battle leading things off for the callouts. Some shakeups in your top 10 coming up here. Otters is currently number 5. Mike Ratliff is number 6. Nitrous fed hot rods make their way up to the Thornton Motorsports starting line. Round number 1 callouts on the line for the Ultimate Street list. Looks like something wrong with Chuck's car. The guys walk over and signal for him to cut off. The Falcon will take a freebie and take over the number 5 spot. Chuck, meanwhile, going to get pushed off the racetrack, and that is not the way that the number 5 driver wanted to give up the day.
So, Brandon Tuck called out Ben Chick for a street drive. Ben Chick didn't want to do the street drive, so he pulled his car off the list, got back into the shootout, ran Tracy Eubank first round, and Tracy Eubank beat him after Ben spun the tires and couldn't recover. That takes Ben off the list. Everybody moves up. Now we got an open 10 spot. So whoever wins the shootout tonight is going to be the automatic number 10. Chuck and Mike Ratliff just tried to run, and it looked like Chuck's carburetor was loading up. I had some trash in the on seat or something. So I think they're going to work on that. I don't know if they're going to run it back, or actually Pete Decker has to call out the loser, so he's going to have to defend against Pete Decker first. So I don't know, man. Things going crazy tonight, so we'll see what else happens.
Going to round 2. Chad Quinn. Sorry, Chad. I told you before I got here. I had an ass whooping with your name on it. It's not my fault, Chad. I'm sorry. I'll donate your calls later. It's got to be tough for kids like yourself. Anyway, yeah, we're moving on round 2. I have no clue who I'm running yet. I can tell you what, Purple Rain is picking them up and moving them down in high gear. So, see y'all in the beans.
Heading into round number 2 of the Super Street List shootout, Zach Reed will take on Jamie Mumpower, and Charlie Robertson lines up against Greg Dustown. Session 2 of the Get Fast 1 Super Street List shootout, Zach Reed rolls up out of Beaver Dam in the Mustang. Jamie Mumpower here out of Fredericksburg, bringing up his new Chevy Camaro. George Mason Mortgage side. Lots of Ford and Chevy battles tonight. This one, a couple of their pony cars, the Mustang and the Camaro. Second round, Super Street Shootout. 4 cars here in this round. We'll figure out who's going to the finals. Super Street Shootout. Get Fast 1 Friday here at Richmond Road. Look at that, Zach Reed taking the whole shot off the starting line, moving first. Trying to hold on to that advantage all the way down the Richmond Dragway quarter mile. And he does take the win light on the Pertex side. Your second pair of the semifinals, Greg Dustown coming up out of Mechanicsville, and Charlie Robertson out of Williamsburg. The Pontiac and the Ford Mustang. Huge hole shot off the starting line. The Pontiac moves first and will not look back tonight. Final round going to be the Pontiac and Charlie Robertson taking on Zach Reed in the Ford Mustang. Zach Reed and Charlie Robertson coming back for the finals of the shootout. The Ford Mustang and the Pontiac going to square off for the challenge spot. John Campbell, the caddy CTSV, and Chris James in the Ford Mustang. Right now, John is number 6 on the Get Fast 1 RVA list. And Chris James is number 7. So this is a call out for the 6th position on the Super Street list. The 4-door caddy takes on the Mustang. James to get in. James moving first. The Mustang trying to drive away with it. Hampton makes a nice top-end charge here as they head out to the stripe at the quarter mile. They're side by side, but the wind light goes. Chris James taking over the number 6 spot. Joey Buck and Jason Blankenship. Joey out of Newport News, Blankenship out of Mechanicsville. Chevy Pontiac battle here for the number 2 spot. Regardless, Blankenship looks like he's on his way to holding his position and just defending his spot on the list. He knocks out Joey right there. After the first round of the Ultimate Street list, Mark Coonley and Gene Motley, John Mankia and Tim Bauer, and Tracy Eubank races Ryan Watts. Here's your Ultimate Street challengers. Mark Coonley bringing up his Chevy Camaro and Gene Motley with the Purple Rain Chevy. Got the boosted entry of Coonley taking on the nitrous fed beast of Gene Motley. First gen Chevy Camaros roll up here on the line. Ultimate Street side of the list. Only the last to get in. Purple Rain moving first with the wheels coating. Gene Motley screams away on the George Mason side to a round 2 win. And the next pair coming up, John Mankia's Chevy Camaro taking on Tim Bauer out of Seaford in the Chevy Nova. Both drivers staged up, green light starts, and Bauer moves first. The Nova not going to look back here, heading off to the semifinals for our Ultimate Street shootout. Final pair coming up here, Tracy Eubank brings up his Ford Mustang, taking on that hard-hitting Burkeville, Virginia-based Malibu, Ryan Watts, over on the George Mason Mortgage side. Watts' last 2 passes have been huge wheel stands, so look out for this one. That orange car is coated some tires. Looks like something leaking out of Eubank's car. We'll get shown the exit. We will single here for Ryan Watts. Watts taking the instant green start, launching off that Thornton Motorsports starting line. Heads down for a second round win in the shootout. That leaves 3 cars left in the Ultimate Street. Your semifinals of the Ultimate Street list will have Ryan Watts taking on Tim Bauer and Gene Motley on a bye run to the finals of the Ultimate Street list. Some challenge for position runs coming up here. Pete Decker, Chevy Camaro, taking on Mike Ratliff in the Falcon. Ratliff currently number 5. Decker is number 8 going into it. 2 drivers 6 and 7 are not available to make runs, so Decker gets to move his way up the list. If he's got to get by the Falcon, this run will not do it. Mike Ratliff holds on to number 5. Pete Decker goes number 6.
again, third round. No clue who I might have now. They get down to the heavy hitters now. As usual, I'm the little training cook, and I will. So good run with me and Mark Coonley. I didn't see what happened. Was afraid to lift, but what I'm saying, he has issues, splendid tires or whatever. So again, Purple Rain is going A to B, and that's the biggest thing. So we'll see y'all in the beams.
I think I got, this is my new power plant. Tested it last week at Dinwiddie and everything was going fine until I got here, and then it seems to be it's got too long of a push rod in it, I guess. I don't know, I'm not an engine builder, but I'll get it fixed up and be back for the next race. It looks like I'm going to lose about 3 spots. I went from 5th to, I think, 7th. I think I'll probably have to run that daggum tow truck.
Zach Reed and Charlie Robertson coming back for the finals of the shootout. The Ford Mustang and the Pontiac going to square off for the challenge spot. Your final run here on the Super Street Shootout list. This is Zach Reed and Charlie Robertson. Reed's Mustang, Robertson's Pontiac. This is for bragging rights and the number 10 position. On the Super Street list, we've got an opening at the 10 spot, so one of these drivers will immediately go on to the Super Street list and be available to make call-outs in the very next session of the RVA list. This is a huge run. The Mustang trying to get back on the Super Street list, the Pontiac trying to earn his way there. For all the marbles in the number 10 spot, we've got Zach Reed and Charlie Robertson lining them up here. Instant green start. Charlie thunders off that starting line. And the Pontiac is not going to look back, baby. Call-outs here. John Hampton bringing up his Patty CTSV on the George Mason Mortgage side. Keith Breslin bringing up his Chevy Corvette on the Pertec lane. Breslin currently number 8. Hampton is number 7. This is a call out for the 7th spot on the RVA list. Super Street. Hampton rolls in deep. Breslin comes in. Green light starts. Side by side off of the starting line. Does the vet have enough to take down the caddy? They move out to the top end. It's all John Hampton, baby. The Farmer Machine entry holds on to number 7. Joey Buck and Louis Demetrison coming up. Joey, number 4 on the list. Louis, number 5. Call out for the 4th position between the Chevy Camaro of Joey out of Newport News. Louis, Gum Spring, Virginia, in the Ford Mustang. Off of that Thornton Motorsports starting line, they are side by side as they pass half track. Here comes the Mustang for a hard charge to the top end, and Louis Demetrison moves to number 4 on the Super Street list. A rematch for the number 1 spot here. Jason Blankenship and Patrick Depew. Depew, your current number 1. Blankenship in the backdraft Pontiac. Gave up an earlier run to Patrick Depew tonight. They were tight on that previous pass, so this will be another great run coming up here between the Pontiac and the Chevy Camaro. The last run was anything to watch. This one will be great. Look at them leave the line right together. Wheels up, start. They are door handle to door handles. They move to the top end, but Patrick Depew, with the handle on his Chevy Camaro, holds on to number 1. Your semifinals of the Ultimate Street list will have Ryan Watts taking on Tim Bauer and Gene Motley on a bye run to the finals of the Ultimate Street list. Your semifinal run here for the Ultimate Street Shootout. Ryan Watts taking on the Bauer team. The Nova out of Seaford, Virginia taking on the Malibu from Burkeville. Tim Bauer and Ryan Watts run off. One of them going to come back to take on Gene Motley in the finals of the Ultimate Street Shootout. Bauer bumps in. Here comes Watts. rolling up on the Pertex side. Watch out for Watts to give us a big old wheel stand, because he's done that a couple of times tonight, and he doesn't disappoint this time either. Watts in control start to finish and takes the win light down the Pertex side. Going to the final round to take on Gene Motley. It's Purple Rain rolling up here. Singling. Getting ready for that final round of the Ultimate Street Shootout. Launching off, heading out to the top end. Purple Rain saying, Ryan, get it together because I'm going to be there. For the final round, it's Gene Motley and Ryan Watts for all the marbles on the Ultimate Street list. Call out here for Blake Canada, new driver to the top 10 list. Going to line up here with Pete Decker. Blake catching a great night to make a huge quantum leap up the list. Decker currently holds the number 5 spot, so this is a call out for the 5th spot. Blake came in as the number 10 driver tonight. A bunch of guys broke, not available to make runs, so Blake gets to pass them, call out process, and go all the way to the top half of the field if he can get by Pete Decker here. Decker rolls in on the Pertex side. Here comes Blake behind him, and Blake moving first. That T-Bird is racing on mean on Friday night, and he is your new number 5 racer.
All right, very good, buddy. Thank you, Brian. Good job, man. That's Pete's money. Now go get Pete's reaction.
I had a good night, but I had a bad night because I lost twice. But I moved up the list because other people's cars were breaking and stuff. So I'd much rather win by just winning the race, but I take what I can get when you're climbing up the list, I guess. I think Tuck did a great job. I sent him a message that says that these have still got to be street cars. So that was awesome.
Right now, I'm in number 5, Pete Decker for 5, and Ratlick's got a call out on Tuck right now, so they locked me up for the rest of the night. So I'm pretty much stuck.
Are you happy about that?
I'll take the loser that race next round.
Are you happy about sitting the rest of the night?
I'm all right. I'm all right with it. Time to celebrate now.
Charlie Robertson makes it to the 10 spot and will take on Keith Breslin in the Chevy Corvette for the number 9 challenge on the Super Street list. Charlie Robertson's worked his way onto the Super Street list, and now he wants to work his way up the list, facing Keith Breslin. Is Breslin in the Chevrolet Corvette, your new number 10 racer. Charlie Robertson there out of Williamsburg. Matt Sangfield not on the property at number 9, so Charlie will get to jump around that. Trying to take the 8th spot on the Super Street list. So tonight's shootout winner already getting busy trying to climb up. This time he's going to have to get around Keith Breslin. Breslin leaves before the tree is activated. Charlie Robertson will go number 8 on the Super Street list. Call out here between Joey Buck and Chris James. James in the Ford Mustang. Joey is currently number 5 in the Chevy Camaro. James trying to move up to the top half of the Super Street list. The Mustang leaving first. Trying to be well on his way as they head out to the top end. This will be a tight little drag race. Joey has just enough to hold him off, and Joey Buck holding on to number 5. Nitrous in here. Lining up with Jason Blankenship. Blankenship, number 3 on the list in the Pontiac. Lewis, number 4 in the Ford Mustang. Lewis bumps in, stages up, puts the ball in Jason's court. Jason rolls up in backdraft, and they're off. Lewis breaks off the line. Jason Blankenship totes the tires, lights the fires, and backdraft, hangs on to his number 3 spot. Your finals of the Ultimate Street Shootout. Ryan Watts bringing up the Nasty Malibu, taking on Gene Motley Purple Rain on the Pertex side. Watts rolls up out of Burkeville, Motley out of Chesterfield. A couple of nitrous-fed competitors roll up here for the final round of the shootout on the Ultimate Street side. One of these drivers will take over a chance to run for the number 10 position on the Get Fast 1 Ultimate Street list. Gene's Purple Rain rolling in. Here comes Watts. Bringing that Malibu up. These drivers have been through some tough rounds of racing thus far, but the toughest one lies right before them. Purple Rain moving first, and Motley with the right to challenge for the 10 spot on the Ultimate Street list. Number 10. Brandon Tuck bringing up the Mustang here. Currently number 2 on the Ultimate Street list. Mike Ratliff, number 3. This is a call out for the 2nd position on the Ultimate Street list. Couple Ford products roll up here on the starting line. The Mustang on the Pertex side, the Falcon over there on the George Mason lane, and a race for the number 2 spot. Getting ready to take the track. Green lights, off to the races they go. Side by side, Tuck looks like he's got the advantage and takes the win light. Tuck holds his number 2 position.
Round I had a call out on Chick. I challenged him to street drive. He chose to take his car off the list instead of taking the street drive, which makes me number 2. He's off the list. I waited around a couple rounds to get some action. Ratliff wanted to move up, so we ran. Had a good race. I took the win. I think the next couple of days are going to be interesting on Facebook. There's going to be a lot of talk. I'm sure I'm going to get bashed from one end of the spectrum to the other. I don't know. It depends on how far they want to take it.
Had he done the challenge, what do you think would have happened?
Chick's car's fast. I've never doubted that car. If he had actually made the challenge and came back, I don't know how fast they'd have had a tune-up in it for or that kind of thing, because they don't drive it on what they race it on. So I have a feeling it would have been a very interesting race. Again, thanks to Chad Glenn for the easy first pass. Chad, call me sometime, buddy. I'll let you know how to get to A to B. We're back. Thanks for everybody's support. Get Fast 1. Wow, awesome event. I'm happy. It's Bud Light time, guys. See ya.
Me and Patrick agreed to race for the 2 spot tonight. We both left pretty much dead even and had a close run to the end. I think it was maybe a bumper difference at the quarter mile. Patrick brought the better car. So I called him back out later on after I raced Joey Book and held him off. Me and Patrick raced again and he got me again. He had the better car tonight. No excuses for me.
So what's going on, man? I heard you were like number 1 or something.
Yeah, for a little bit. Did a big wheelie. I was not expecting that at all. I clicked 2nd in the air and it was still going up. And clicked 3rd, and I was still searching for 3rd the rest of the way down the track because I wasn't ready. I tightened the front end up and it just, I guess it liked it too much. I don't know.
The car is flying tonight, though.
Yeah, it's working. And I'm very, very happy with it. Leaves me in first on the Super Street list. Until next month, we'll see.
It's been an awesome night of drag racing on the Get Fast 1 RVA list, and that finishes the night as we leave you with our top 10 on the Super Street side. Patrick Depew, your new number 1. Jimmy B with Gerald Driver, number 2. Jason Blankenship, number 3. Lewis Demetrius in number 4. Joey Buck rounded out the top 5. Chris James, number 6. John Hampton, number 7. The Shootout winner, Charlie Robertson, already up to the number 8 spot with Keith Breslin in at the number 9. And Matt Sangfield rounding out the top 10 of the Super Street list. On the Ultimate Street side of the field, Richard Tillman's Cotton Mustangs, number 1, with Brandon Tuck's Mustang, number 2. Mike Ratliff's Falcon holds down the 3rd spot, while John Dunn in at the number 4. Blake Canada went from the Challenger all the way up to the number 5 spot, while Pete Decker slipping a bit to number 6. Chuck Otters, number 7. Charles Forrest Boostzilla, number 8. Brandon Terry's Tow Truck, number 9. Gene Motley, your Ultimate Street winner, is number 10 and will race Terry next time in the Ultimate Street list.